What is going on, guys? Bruin Steel here. Welcome back to another WWE broadcast. I'm your host, Bruin Steel, and I am once joined by Canadian Yorker, and we are recapping the Monday Night Raw that took place on July 8th, 2024, and it took place in Ottawa, Canada. So a couple of Raws has been in Canada, so that's kind of nice for this guy. Yeah, it was a unbelievable Raw. I already know what I'm gonna give this Raw as a rating. But Canadian Yorker, how's it going tonight?
I'm doing well tonight, doing awesome, just doing great. How about yourself?
Good, awesome. So let's get started. So it is the road to SummerSlam. SummerSlam is one of my favorite pay-per-views as well. So SummerSlam is on the road, so can't wait. But let's get started. So we open up the show with CM Punk, and we all know CM Punk's story this past Saturday at Money in the Bank, causing Drew McIntyre to get pissed off. CM Punk talking about that opening the segments, but before he talked about that, he gave a condolence to John Cena. Sorry guys, but me and Canadian Yorker actually forgot to talk about John Cena, but it's announced that John Cena has officially announced his retirement. The 2025 WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber, and Royal Rumble will be his last, but he said he's gonna have a little bit of a retirement tour. He's gonna After WrestleMania, he's gonna wrestle a lot until his last match, which I hope is WrestleMania. So it's basically a retirement run for John Cena. So that's my childhood gone right there. So I can't believe it. I think everyone knows that his time was coming up soon. So me and Canadian are probably gonna do a quick video about that later on since we missed it. But then CM Punk said that Drew McIntyre faces the consequences. That's what happens. 3 times CM Punk screwed him. That's just insane. I don't blame Drew for lashing out and getting himself suspended because, 3 times he got fucked up over or screwed over. Um, but then Seth Rollins, who had just got pissed off at CM Punk after the match, had some word for CM Punk. These two guys doesn't they just don't like each other. Seth Rollins said that CM Punk's tries to give Seth Rollins a apology. CM Punk said that Drew McIntyre stole my bracelet that had my wife and my dog. But then CM Punk just doesn't like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins blamed CM Punk for his loss, thinking that CM Punk cost him the match. But then Seth Rollins said that he wants to punch the shit out of CM Punk, but said he doesn't want to because he knows that CM Punk is not 100%, but promised him that once CM Punk is cleared, Seth Rollins said that he's going to snap CM Punk's arm. So Seth Rollins threatened CM Punk. So Seth Rollins is that pissed off as well. So I can't wait to see what happens. But I know that they talked about a lot of things. Don't want to have this video too long, so just deep dive what happened. But basically, Seth Rollins threatened CM Punk once CM Punk is medically clear. Seth Rollins basically said that I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna snap your arm and bring you back down once again. So wow, are we gonna see Seth actually beat the shit out of CM Punk? But not gonna talk too much. That's the end of the segment. What are your thoughts on this opening segment with Seth Rollins and CM Punk?
Wow, wow. It is just absolute mayhem with Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and CM Punk. Of all people, Seth Rollins should be extremely upset with Drew McIntyre for getting involved in the match and making it a three-way match. I mean, it is insane what happened. I will say this. I mean, I was watching a few things occur. That was a very gutsy move from Dave from Drew McIntyre to come out in the middle of the match between Seth and Damian and insert himself. Not even at the end, who determined the winner was. Just let them beat each other down. But apparently, Drew McIntyre just came out in the middle of the match and tried to take it over and get him to make himself the new world heavyweight champion. It was Seth. and Damian and Drew that all wanted to be the world heavyweight champion and insert CM Punk. CM Punk comes in and CM Punk makes himself the target of the anger of three men because all three men wanted to be champion. Only one came out champion, and that person is Damian Priest. And we haven't seen Damian Priest confront CM Punk yet. I don't think Damian. I know Damian Priest is not. He's happy that he won. At the same time, I think he wanted to prove that he can win without any help whatsoever. And I think, and for it for Seth Rollins to say that CM Punk caused what happened to happen, in a sense, yes, it did happen. But at the same time, CM Punk actually did Seth Rollins a favor by helping Seth Rollins to not be pinned. And unfortunately, Seth Rollins wasn't the one to pin Damian Priest. Imagine if Damian Priest was actually the one, or sorry, if Drew McIntyre was the one that was pinned by Seth Rollins, I can imagine if he would still be upset that CM Punk came in and actually made him the champion. But no, that's not what happened. Seth Rollins came in. Seth Rollins lost because he saw that. I mean, he mentioned it. He said that CM Punk has stuck his nose in his business, but at the same time, you know, I mean, I definitely see Seth Rollins is going to do something to CM Punk and insert himself in this heated feud that he has going on with Drew McIntyre. So CM Punk actually wants the. I remember. I hope you listened that CM Punk actually wants the suspension that was given to Drew McIntyre to be lifted because CM Punk wants Drew McIntyre to. He wants to fight him one-on-one, man-to-man. I mean, we're gonna see a very crazy match going on between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. It's probably going to happen at SummerSlam sometime in the future. I believe Seth Rollins is definitely going to come out and dish out some consequences to CM Punk for costing him the match. I believe maybe we might see Seth Rollins screw over CM Punk and help Drew McIntyre win. It might happen. So we'll see what happens.
All right, so yeah, good talk. Yeah, I just barely want to say anything because I don't want this video to be so long. But yeah, I agree. It's like we might see Seth Rollins turn heel when he has to feud with CM Punk because CM Punk is clear as a face right now. So I think like Seth could turn heel when he has his feud with CM Punk. So we have to see what happens. But moving on, I'm not going to talk about the backstage segments. I'm just going to skip through it. Just Dominic Mysterio just doesn't want to team with Liv. It's hilarious. And then basically, Adam Pearce said that Selena and Ray already agreed to it. But then Dom says, whatever, let's do it, but there's better be some nuggies. So yeah, okay. But moving on to the first match of Monday Night Raw, we got Chad Gable going on with main event Jey Uso. So 1-on-1 match with Jey Uso and Chad Gable. This was a great match. Chad Gable as dangerous as ever. Jey Uso actually struggled a little bit against Chad Gable. I mean, is that really how it is with faces against heels? But Chad was targeting Jay's leg or something like that. Um, but then Jay did put up a fight, but at the end, um, Chad Gable tried to hit the ankle lock, but the lights start to go down with the Wyatt Six, and then Chad gets distracted. Jey Uso takes advantage with a spear. Jey Uso defeats main event. Jey Uso defeats Chad Gable by pinfall thanks to the Wyatt Six distracting Chad Gable. Post match, it looks like Jey Uso doesn't want anything to do with Wyatt Six, so he just yeeted out of there quickly. It was hilarious. But then Chad Gable's lying there, and the Wyatt Six, with the smoke and everything, Chad Gable's freaked out. Out of, he's coming up, he's laying up from the spear that Jay gave him, and then Nikki Cross once again is there, and Chad Gable freaks out. which was hilarious because fans told Chad Gable, watch out behind you," and then Chad actually fell for it and then just like got scared. So, but once again, Sister Abigail, I think that's what the character is for Nikki Cross. But once again, Nikki Cross giving another box to Michael Cole. And by the way, Pat McAfee is here actually. So Pat McAfee, welcome back. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? But the scary thing is, all three boxes were had his name on it. Was like directly put his name was on all three of the boxes. So that was weird. And that ends the segment. So once again, the Wyatt family once again was another VR tape, whatever. But this time Pat McAfee freaked out because the last these three boxes have been directly assigned to him. So they put to Matt Pat. So we have to see if the Wyatt family is gonna target Pat, but I don't know. But what are your thoughts on the Jey Uso and Chad Gable match?
It's a great win. It's a great pickup win for Jey because he did lose at Money in the Bank, and Drew McIntyre became the new guy, the new Money in the Bank contestant. So for Chad and for Jey to definitely get their match going, I think it's great because both these guys need to be facing each other, and that's exactly what happened. I thought Chad Gable was better. He was definitely the better wrestler because he's more technical, and he definitely had Jey Uso on the ropes. But thanks to the distraction by the Wyatt family that freaked out Chad Gable and took him out of his game, Jey Uso took advantage and got the win. And so it's a great pickup win for Jey. Chad Gable definitely needs to bounce back and to get a win against Jey Uso.
Yeah. Question is, like, people are like saying this Wyatt Six. I don't want to talk too much about it, but people are saying that this Wyatt Six story has been boring. It's just Nikki Cross gifting tapes after tape after tape. Like, you wanna predict how many more tapes there's gonna be? I predict 1,000 because it's just gonna be nonstop, nonstop. But I just want to see the Wyatt fans. I just want to see what if like the Wyatt members just actually go out there and fight like normal wrestlers, like Seth Steer, Abigail, Nikki Cross fighting. I don't know. Don't want to talk too much, but moving on to the next match, we got Big Bronson Reed versus Pete Dunne. He had a confrontation with Sheamus earlier. Bronson Reed and Sheamus. Oh my God, that would be hell of a matchup. But it was announced that they will have that matchup next week. So Sheamus versus Bronson Reed will be a banger. So talking about this Bronson Reed versus Pete Dunne, Pete Dunne, man, he actually did a great job. He actually put up a great fight against Bronson Reed. But Big Bronson Reed, he's just too strong for him. But Pete Dunne actually put up a fight, like a decent fight. Um, excuse me. But it was on the top rope where Pete Dunne tried to take advantage, but then it wasn't enough. Bronson trips him. Bronson Reed was the 747 splash on Pete Dunne, winning the match. But post match, Bronson Reed wasn't done with Pete Dunne, and since and tries to attack him, but then Sheamus, Pete Dunne's old buddy from the Brawling Brutes, saves Pete Dunne and scares off Bronson Reed. But the funny thing is, Pete Dunne, Sheamus tries to hug Pete Dunne, but he's not having it. Pete Dunne does not want anything to do with Sheamus. So this is where things are interesting because I've been waiting for this to happen so long because you had Sheamus out with the injury and you had Pete Dunne and that other guy, I can't remember his name, who was on NXT, Brawling Brutes, and then it just Pete Dunne used to be Butch. So I just feel like Pete Dunne felt that Sheamus left him, but what you gotta do, man? Like what does Sheamus supposed to do because he was hurt? But I just feel like Pete Dunne didn't like his Butch days, so or maybe Pete Dunne felt like Sheamus just walked out of the group. That's why he didn't want anything to do with Sheamus. But I said in the future, this was like months ago, and I was like, oh, in the future, there's got to be some sort of storyline between Sheamus walking out or getting hurt, and here we are right here. So Pete Dunne doesn't want anything to do with Sheamus, so it's getting interesting. What are your thoughts on the Bronson Reed and Pete Dunne matchup?
I think Bronson Reed should definitely be pushed more. He is such a good wrestler. He is also an intimidating wrestler. Pete Dunne definitely put up a good fight against him, and Pete Dunne is pretty good himself. Um, I just don't see why Pete Dunne is being pushed more. He definitely needs more matches, and the WWE needs to utilize him more and also use Bronson Reed more too. Uh, Excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, that's what they need to do with both those guys. They need to be pushing them more. As for the matches, the situation going on between Sheamus, Pete Dunne, and Butch, I think that's going to be. This is sort of we're seeing the what would happen situation if Sheamus was there and these guys, the Brawling Boots we're seeing the Brawling Boots break up, and I believe Pete Dunne is definitely going to turn on Sheamus. We're going to see a Pete Dunne versus Sheamus situation happen because Sheamus is more of a face guy. Pete Dunne is the one that's got to turn heel on Sheamus.
All right, moving on. Another backstage segment. Don't want to talk too much. It's just Seth Rollins confronting Damian Priest. But turns out the gentleman's agreement that they have. Damian said, "Fuck it, I was a man of my words. You were a man of yours. So that gentleman's agreement where Seth can't challenge the World Heavyweight Champion ever again, and Damian Priest have to leave the Judgment Day. Damian Priest just put it out the window. So he said that you can forget about the gentleman's agreement. So he said that once he's done with Gunther, Seth will get a chance at the World Heavyweight title. So basically, Seth Rollins got pissed off at CM Punk for nothing. So the gentleman's agreement went out the door. I was shocked because, like, wow, Seth was just the agreement was just like Seth can't ever challenge for the world title as long as Damon's champion. But Damon Priest said forget about it, you know. So, but I just feel like uh, but moving on to the next, Sami Zayn making his entrance, and he said that he is honored to be standing in this ring in this nation's capital, representing Canada. If you guys don't know, Sami Zayn is actually from Montreal, so he's a proud Canadian. That's why Canadian Yorker here loves Sami. so, so Sammy's yeah. So basically, he gives props where it's due from Braun Breaker. He said he earned some respect in the ring, but then Braun Breaker came and just didn't say anything to him. And Zayn's like, "Are you looking for a fight? Are you looking for a rematch? Or are you just gonna stare?" Braun Breaker says that he came out here to look for the only man in the locker room who said he can beat him. But then out of nowhere, he spears Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn actually lost a shoe from that spear, so that was crazy. And then he started to punch Sami Zayn in the face. Referee Adam Pearce sworn, but Braun Breaker. Sorry, did I say Bronson Reed this time? Sorry if I did. Braun Breaker speared once again, distracting Adam Pearce with the speed, and once again speared Sami Zayn to the floor. Braun Breaker is just a madman. I knew he was gonna snap after his loss to Sami Zayn, and once again, it looks like he wants a rematch. So, and Dragunov goes out there to help Sami Zayn, and it's later said that Dragunov will have a one-on-one with Braun Breaker. So, what are your thoughts on Braun Breaker attacking Sami Zayn again?
Man, I mean, it's kind of expected. We can only expect Braun Breaker to lash out after his only loss, which he said that he was surprised that Sami Zayn was the only one to actually beat him one on one and make him give him his only loss. So, I mean, I don't think we're gonna see the end of Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn. Oh, so excuse me, Sammy definitely just has to continuously prove that he can take on Braun Breaker and take down Braun Breaker. And if he beats Braun Breaker again, it definitely means that Braun Breaker definitely needs to work on his game. Um, just like he underestimated Sammy. Um, it's great that Dragunov was there to help Sammy and help him, get help to distract Braun Breaker away from that because Dragunov definitely has some he wants to take another crack at Braun Breaker. So Braun Breaker needs to settle his situation that he's going on with Dragunov before he can face Sami Zayn again.
All right, so moving on to the next match, we got Awesome Truth, R-Truth and The Miz teaming up with Braun Strowman versus Carlito in the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and JD McDonagh. So a six-man tag team match. So I actually didn't watch this match. I kind of got interrupted with something. So I was watching Raw, but then I got interrupted. I had to do something. So I didn't really watch this Raw. I just caught a glimpse of like the last minute of the match. I know that R-Truth's great tribute to John Cena. He had to do the "You Can't See Me" five knuckle shuffle and attitude adjustment, and Finn Balor broke it up. It just I didn't really see the match. I know that JD McDonagh just hates Braun Strowman. I feel like that JD McDonagh was just taunting Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's like, "I'm gonna whoop your ass," and then it turns out not Braun Breaker. What the hell? I'm just like messing everything up tonight. Braun Strowman, excuse me. Braun Strowman started to chase JD McDonagh out of the ring, but then the Miz was out of it, and then Finn Balor taking advantage. Carlito and Finn Balor taking advantage on Truth. Finn Balor to the top rope, hitting the coup de grace on R-Truth to get the win. Judgment Day, Finn Balor, JD McDonagh, and Carlito defeats Braun Strowman, The Miz, and R-Truth by pinfall. And The Miz, man, I feel bad for him. He just like pissed off because R-Truth once again cost him the match. I feel like The Miz is gonna turn heel at some point. I don't know. I think it's a build up for The Miz turning heel again. I don't know. I mean, I feel like The Miz is a good heel, to be honest, in a face. I just feel like The Miz is weird as a face. So, but what are your thoughts on this match with Judgment Day and Carlito beating R-Truth, Miz, and Braun Strowman?
I think it's a great pickup win for the Judgment Day. They need this. They need this win. They need this title defense that they have because they have been going downhill. We have been talking a lot about the Judgment Day. We've been talking about how the Judgment Day is good. This we're seeing cracks in them. We're seeing they're gonna break up. We're seeing that they're on their last legs, but they get this win. They get the win the championship back. They get this win. It's a great pickup win for them. So it's great to see that they win. Unfortunately for R-Truth and The Miz, I don't understand what's going on with R-Truth. It seems like R-Truth keeps getting ambushed, and The Miz keeps losing because R-Truth keeps screwing up. And they had Braun Strowman of all people to help them, but unfortunately Braun Strowman got distracted by JD McDonagh. So it is what it is for the moment. But I agree with you. I mean, I could definitely see the Miz getting so frustrated that he's sick and tired of it, and he wants to he's going to go back to being heel again. And we know how good the heel the Miz is. So the Miz versus R-Truth, that would definitely be great for them because the Judgment Day has one less tag team to worry about. So.
All right, so moving on. So it turns out CM Punk wants to fight Drew McIntyre, but Drew McIntyre, is suspended, like you said. CM Punk is trying to have Adam Pearce overlift Drew McIntyre's suspension, but claims that it's hard. Adam Pearce said that he's gonna have Drew in his office next week with a meeting, and that they'll see if he can start stuff again. But CM Punk said that CM Punk not doesn't need to be there since he can't. He said if he interferes again, once again his title match or match with Drew, whoever it is in the future, is no longer no more. And then I just want to talk about this segment because I feel like this is the most hilarious segment ever. Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio in the Judgment Clubhouse, where the PS5 is, and basically Liv Morgan tries to stretch out Dom's leg, whatever ends up on the couch, and then you see Damian Priest, Finn Balor, JJ McDonagh, and Carlito just peeking around the corner like cartoon characters, and they get caught. And then the joke is right here. It's like, oh, people are so excited for Raw to move to Netflix because I think it's like censor free. So basically, Damian Priest said it's not that hard. because that not that hard to end things with it. But Damian Priest is like, it's not that hard. But then Carlito just points to Dom's, and said and said that it's not that hard. So that was hilarious. So basically, Dom got caught with a boner. So, so yeah. So just wanna go forward. So let's get going forward with this show. So Bo Dallas, also with the new Wyatt video. Just don't want to talk too much about it, like I said, and basically it's basically Bo Dallas asking that. Do you think we're sick? And basically, he said that he's gonna release his family members. That's basically it. I'm not gonna talk too much about it. If you guys want to go see it, it's on YouTube. But then Adam Pearce gets interrupted by Chad Gable, and what shocked me is that Adam Pearce opened his door to his office, and who do you see standing on the couch? No other than Bo Dallas. So that's right after Adam Pearce just got done talking with Chad Gable. So Chad Gable, Bo Dallas, coincidence? So we might see. I want to see Bo Dallas versus Chad Gable at SummerSlam. Oh my God. But before I go to the next match, any thoughts on the segments that I just explained? Just make it sweet and short.
Obviously, we are going to see Bo Dallas do something to Chad Gable. And, the situation going on with the Judgment Day is interesting. And we'll have to see how things progress going forward because we know Rhea Ripley's coming back sooner or later. And we're going to have to see how Rhea Ripley is going to react. I'm very interested to hear what Rhea Ripley is going to.
Did you watch Raw last night?
I saw clips of it.
Okay.
I saw clips of
All
it.
right. So, moving on to the next match, we got Braun Breaker in another one-on-one match against Dragunov. A lot of history between these two men in NXT, obviously. They actually fought for the NXT Championship in NXT before, so a lot of history. And now they're starting a new rivalry up here in the main roster. So, yeah, Braun Breaker was like a madman in this match. I mean, Dragunov had chances, but Braun Breaker, man, it's just like you do not want to be in a ring with Braun Breaker. Plus, Braun Breaker, I love this new theme song, his new entrance. It's badass, rough, I guess. But I'm not gonna talk too much about this match. Just want to get through this. But it ends up being a so Braun Breaker holds off and throws the office chair to Dragunov's face, ending in a disqualification. So just because you hit someone in the face with a chair is a disqualification. So Dragunov wins by disqualification, and then just Braun Breaker just started attacking Dragunov, whatever, and then Sami Zayn, excuse me, Sami Zayn came out, tried to even the odds, but it wasn't enough. Braun Breaker was able to do a 1v2, and Braun Breaker just destroyed both Sami Zayn and Dragunov standing tall. What are your thoughts on this match?
Obviously, Braun Breaker needs to be put in a handicap match. 2-on-1 should be and Sami and Dragunov against Braun Breaker. I would love to see that happen. I mean, obviously, since both men don't like Braun Breaker, they need to stand together and take Braun Breaker down. Obviously, it's just kind of wild that Braun Breaker is able to handle both of them so easily. And both of them don't have anything to answer but Braun Breaker's, you know, power that he has. And I expected Dragunov to definitely be to know how to maneuver against Braun Breaker because he's faced Braun Breaker longer than Sami has faced Braun Breaker. So I believe Dragunov definitely knows Braun Breaker's moves better than Sami does. So I would figure that Dragunov knows how to, take Braun Breaker down. I didn't really see that happen in the match, but I definitely would like to see Sami and Dragunov utilize more of his skills to definitely get a win against Braun Breaker because right now he's not looking too good on his losses. So
Alright, so moving on to the next match, we got Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane in a six-woman tag team match against Kata Chance, Kaden Carter, and Lyra Vicaria. So a lot of six-woman, six-men tag team matches tonight. So obviously, Io Sky said that Damage Control needs to change. I thought someone was getting the boot, probably in the future maybe. People are suggesting that Damage Control moving forward could be like a it's hinted that Io Sky said that things gotta change for Damage Control. They can make a change, turning into baby faces. Imagine the Damage Control becoming a babyface faction, like from a heel faction changing into a babyface Damage Control. But after the match, it might have happened. I don't know, because people are saying that a heel person can't go after a heel. But let's save that for after the match. But talking about this match. Oh my god, I missed this match last night as well. I was doing shit. But I know that at the end it was pretty close. But then, Caden Carter just like look, they put up a great fight. I was expecting Lyra and Chance and Carter to win, but just Damage Control just showed that oh yeah, changes are coming. But it basically was a moonsault from Io Sky, obviously, onto Caden Carter. I don't want to talk too much about the match because I didn't watch it. I was doing stuff. It's like I got interrupted a couple times doing stuff. So, Damage Control gets the win with a moonsault from Io Sky on Caden Carter. But this is when it gets interesting. So, Damage Control then gets attacked by Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, but there's a mystery third. Mystery third, no other than Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville finally aligning herself with Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler as those three beat down Damage Control. Zoe Stark blaming Io for costing her everything. And Io Sky just got her ass whooped. It was just crazy. It was a throwing her knee into Baszler and then invert DDT from Sonya. Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler standing tall. So it looks like that, Sonya Deville's advice to Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. It looked like Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark accepted Sonya Deville, and now you got a female faction right here. And people are calling it lesbians because if you guys don't know, Sonya Deville actually is a lesbian. She likes girls. She got married. By the way, I didn't say congratulations to Sonya Deville on your marriage. So people are saying that group is called a lesbian. Oh my god. Why? Why would you do that? Like, oh my god. So this is what I was talking about after that attack because if you look at it, Damage Control is a heel group, and now you got this heel group of Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark. You can't really have two heel groups go at it, and I feel like those two are going to have a feud. Those six women are going to have a feud, 3-on-3 feud with two different factions, but they both can't be heels. So what I'm suggesting, Damage Control. Io Sky kept saying changes need to be made. Imagine if Damage Control just turned face after this. Like Damage Control as a group turned face, facing a heel faction of Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark. Imagine. I know you're shaking your head. You have your own opinion, but imagine. But what are your thoughts on this six-woman tag team match?
I think it's great. Damage Control got a win. They got a pickup win. Damage Control is actually they're an interesting group because honestly, last year they were probably one of the strongest groups in the WWE. They had Bayley, they had Asuka, they had the other two, Kyrie Sane. They had you know uh, you know Dakota Kai. I mean, honestly, they were a pretty strong faction right there, but they broke apart because they had internal disagreements. And it's great that they picked up a win. It's that you have Io, you got Kylie, and you got Dakota Kai. Unfortunately, Asuka is still out because she had surgery on her knee, so she's going to be out for a pretty long time. She's actually going to be out for probably a year because she has to she had surgery on her knee, so she's going to be out for some time, and she can't be with Damage Control. So right now, Damage Control is on their own handling their business, and it'll be great to see Asuka come back and help them
What
out.
are your thoughts about when I said that Io Sky said changes need to be needed? Imagine if that meant like we could turn into faces.
Honestly, maybe,
Because
maybe damage
it
control.
looks like Damage Control and the new faction of Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Starks are all heel factions, and people are like, you can't have heel factions have a feud. One of them's gotta be a face. If that's the case, my money's on Damage Control to be the faces. You have
I
to.
don't really. I don't want to see damage control turn face yet because I like them as a heel.
Because
They're really good. They are really good as a
Obviously Damage Control is looking for revenge against Zoe
yes,
Stark, and
yes,
but it's just like
obvious.
people are like, you can't have two heels feud.
Yeah. It would make more sense for Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark and Sonya Deville to be a face faction, but for them to come out of nowhere and attack damage control,
Oh, so
I
you
get
think
these.
you think Zoe Stark, Sonya Deville, and Shayna Baszler will be a face faction?
It would be better for them to be a face faction rather than a heel faction because Damage Control is a face faction right now, and they are the ones that can definitely bring the bring the heat. You know, they can
All right,
definitely bring the heat when they're at 100%.
all right.
We've
Let's get
seen how
all right.
dominant they are.
Yeah. All right. Talking a lot. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's just my own opinion, so it's just like we'll see what happens. And then you got the women's tag team champions getting in their face in the interview backstage, so that could be a feud right there. But except, is Sonya Deville going to be in ring competition unless Sonya Deville is just going to be their manager? But we saw Sonya Deville with the move still, so we might have to see if Sonya Deville's back in ring toward competition. Because people are like, oh, Sonya Deville is just going to be their manager, so we'll have to see. She'll be like a woman wise woman. So we have to see it. But moving on to the main event, we got Dominic Mysterio teaming up with the World Heavyweight Champion, Women's World Champion Liv Morgan against LWO of Rey Mysterio and Selena Vega. Not what I expected, because Dominic already said that, oh, I'm not interested, pretending that he doesn't want to team with Liv. But all I can say is, oh my god, how many three amigos am I gonna see in this match? How many 619s did I have to watch? Like, Selena Vega was doing 619s, and then it was like Dom and Ray were doing 619s, and then you got Liv Morgan doing the Eddie Guerrero Three Amigos. You got Rey Mysterio doing the Three Amigos. You got Dom doing the Three Amigos. Like, oh my god. I mean, it is what it is. Imagine Liv just started doing 619s as well. But we have to see that was a great match, to be honest. Um, but it was intense. Obviously Liv Morgan cheering Dom for Dom beating up Rey Mysterio, Liv getting interference, running interference. Just trick shot. But then it was a distraction. And then it just Ray set stomach up, and then it just like Liv Morgan actually cost Ray the match, just like buckling. The referee was distracted, didn't see Liv catch Rey Mysterio's leg and off, leaving Dominic Mysterio to hit the frog splash on Rey Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio with his first win over his father, with Liv's help. And yeah, by pitfall. So Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan defeats Rey Mysterio and Selena Vega. So crazy as it sounds, this is Dominic Mysterio's first win over Rey Mysterio. Yeah, it was a great match. Honestly, weird or not, I mean, that's insane that the Three Amigos and 619 were used the most. Um, but then Dominic Mysterio hugged Liv Morgan, and he once again pretended that he didn't want to hug Liv. We saw it, Dom. We saw it. We saw the hug, and then Liv Morgan just jumped into Dominic's arms, and then they just laid down, and it looks like Dom was like, "Okay, I think I'm folding." She helped me beat my dad, and then they were about to kick, and what do you know? Rhea Ripley is back, baby. Rhea Ripley's music hits, and she walks down the aisle, and Liv is like, and Tom is like, and Rhea tries to go right after Liv. Liv just scatters, just runs out of there, and goes in. Rhea Ripley goes in to confront Dom, and I'm like, oh boy, what's gonna happen? And Rhea Ripley is pissed. I saw Rhea Ripley get into Dom's face, and Dom pretends to see that she's back, but Rhea Ripley does not want anything to do with Dom. But that will do it for the main event. Welcome back, Rhea Ripley. She returned as soon as we expected her to be. Like, I didn't expect her to return this early. There were rumors saying that she wasn't going to return at SummerSlam, like sometime after. But welcome back,
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley. Great to see you back. I'm waiting for that fucking slap by Rhea to Dom next week. Like, let's go. I'm gonna fucking see that shit. But there's rumors saying that Liv is playing Dom. This was all part of the plan to screw Dom, Rhea getting pissed at him, and Liv just pretending nothing happened. But what are your thoughts on this main event, man?
I mean, as much as I don't like Dominic Mysterio, I don't want him to win against Ray. I wish Ray would beat Dom every single time, but you can't win every battle, And Ray lost this one, unfortunately, thanks to Liv Morgan. And it just shows that Dominic needs help to win every single time. Dominic needs help. You can't beat his father without getting help, apparently. But anyway, Dominic got the win. He got the win. Let's admit that. I'll admit that, and that's all I'll give Dominic. Just an admittance that he won. Um, for the fact that for the past few weeks we've been saying that Liv and Dom are together, and Liv Morgan. It looks like Liv Morgan has finally won Dominic Mysterio over because he gave her a hug, and he's falling for her now. All her charms are finally working on Dominic. However, the music hits, and we see the one and only Rhea Ripley coming down. Her just her walking down to the ring makes Liv Morgan escape, and Liv Morgan runs away and never comes back to the ring again. I did notice something interesting when Rhea Ripley came back. Rhea Ripley looked at Dominic in his eyes. She looked at him, but he looked at here. You could tell by looking at him. He was very uncomfortable. He didn't want to be there. He was just out of place. He was it was just awkward for Dominic to have that happen to him. But I would say this: if Dominic had stayed strong and Dominic had resisted Liv Morgan, Dominic would not be in the situation where he is right now. But now he's trapped. He is trapped in a big spider's web. That man is he has a lot of explaining to do to Rhea Ripley. He obviously has a lot of explaining to do to her, and I thought she was gonna pick him up and give him a riptide right there in the ring, right there. We would see him get a riptide from her, and then get a big spanking. So honestly, that's what we thought was going to happen. But I honestly, I want to say this. Now I understand why Rey Mysterio does not want to be involved in this situation at all. He absolutely wants nothing to do with what's going on with Dom, Liv, and Rhea Ripley. He wants no business in this.
Do you think Finn Balor was all the plan as well? People are saying that Finn and Liv are working together.
It definitely seems like yes, this is all a ruse that by Finn Balor to definitely take over the Judgment Day to kick Rhea Ripley out. This is definitely going to happen. Rhea Ripley is going to be kicked out of Judgment Day. Damian Priest is definitely going to be kicked out of the Judgment Day. There are going to be new members. I mean, they're already a group right now. All they have to do is kick out Damian and kick out Rhea. That's all they have to
All
do.
right, we'll talk about later. But anyways, that would do it for this broadcast for Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys for watching. In terms of grading, you already know I said this was a great Raw. It's not gonna be a high grading. Well, it is, but not like the best. I'm giving this show a plain A. How about you?
I I will give this show an A as well. An A as well. I'm sorry.
A
It's
as well.
great. Great.
All
Yeah.
right, so that would do it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this broadcast. My name is Bruin Steele. This is Canadian Yorker, and we will see you guys next time for a broadcast. By means of that, we're actually gonna be on vacation. We're gonna be out of town. So we're actually going to New Jersey this coming week. So our next two broadcasts are probably gonna be when we're out of town. So but be sure to like, subscribe, check out Canadian Yorker's channel. The YouTube link to his channel will be in the description of this video, as well as our WWE Wrestling Bros channel. So that will do it. Enjoy, and we'll see you guys next time.
Take care.